It's January 1828. Beneath the River Thames in London, the air is damp, foul and thick with the smell of mud. 40 feet down, hundreds of labourers hack their way through the soft clay. They're building something the world has never seen before, a tunnel under a river. And then, disaster, a roar. The river bursts through. Water pours in like a monster unleashed. Men are screaming everywhere. Lanterns flicker out. The tunnel collapses. In the chaos, a young man is thrown against the wall. His leg snaps. He's dragged out, unconscious, barely alive. His name? Isambard, Kingdom Brunel. He's 21 years old, and this near-death moment will define the rest of his career.
Welcome to Hard Hat Chat. It's a different start, isn't it, Dan? I liked it.
Yeah, I just thought we'd do something different.
Yeah. Story time with Dan. So what's this week's episode about?
It's about, like we've already done my childhood heroes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we've already spoken about like a lot of people kind of idolise a footballer or rock star or wrestler, whatever it is. And I liked engineers.
Yeah.
Particularly Victorian engineers.
Do you know what? I've absolutely loved researching him.
He's an interesting guy.
Honestly,
and
it's been brilliant.
I think, obviously, it's easy to say in hindsight, but I think back then, particularly this era when technology was, almost as exciting as it is now, but more around like, Silicon Valley, what's happening, that's exciting for a certain demographic.
Yeah.
But these guys, these men that had these huge challenges,
yeah,
they were real characters.
You'll see as well as we go through this, like the speed of the advancement as well. Like,
oh, incredible!
This was a period in history where it seemed like progress was made quickly as well.
But this was also when I believe like there was real skill.
Yeah, 100%.
There was real skill. There was proper apprenticeships. That skills were handed down throughout family.
Yeah,
and we see that with Brunel's story.
100%. Well, that tunnel one, the Thames Tunnel, that was really his dad's project.
Yeah,
like he happened to be working on it. So in my research, I found his dad was an engineer, a French engineer, but he didn't even grow up in that.
French engineer called Mark.
So yeah, well he was a bit of a maverick, if you like, himself in a way, because he was from an agricultural background out there, but had a bit of an aptitude for engineering and taking things apart, putting them together and stuff. So he went down that route. But yeah, I loved it. Absolutely loved it.
We've got a lot to be thankful for people like Brunel, like what they done, what they achieved. And I suppose in some way progress was always going to happen.
Yeah.
But it's incredible. My favourite image of Brunel is like where he's standing in the dockyard. He's got these huge chains behind him.
Yeah.
And he looks very...
small.
No. Not quite regal.
No,
but he looks very...
Everybody
looks very
put together, weren't they?
Yeah, the top hat,
yeah,
the suit, and the same. He's standing next to guys that were shipbuilders.
Yeah.
And they were wearing like proper jackets.
Yeah.
Proper trousers. And I would have loved it.
Yeah.
There's certain things I would have liked about Victorian England.
Yeah. Yeah.
But there's a lot that excites me about that time.
Yeah. Life expectancy was a bit shorter, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Due to factors.
Yeah, there were certain things, plagues and that going around. It was a bit of a night. But then I think there's probably things that we've lost over the years at how they used to get over things. And yeah, I'll just look at it all with fascination because you wasn't just going down the store, to buy something. You would have to create the thing to create the next thing.
Make the tools to do the job in the first place.
So we're in an era of steam here, aren't we?
Well, if we maybe we can sort of just go through his life with a few highlights and discuss those. I don't know if that's the best way to wrap up all his accomplishments in 30 or 40 minutes is a challenge, but we're going to give it a go because that's what we do, apparently. I liked where he studied. That was the first thing that stood out to me. So his dad sent him to France because he was into geometry and mathematics and mathematics. Because you said about him drawing circles, didn't you?
Yeah.
And that side of it, apparently the teachers in France, I think his dad still had contacts over there because they moved over in later life, didn't they? But he studied with a guy called Louis Breguet. And Breguet is like one of the most famous watch brands in the world, even today.
And if there's one thing we've learnt about you, you love a watch.
But honestly, it's the engineering in it. It's the detail they have to go in. Like, so he was like Breguet. This is. He didn't come up with the idea, but he developed a thing called a tourbillon. This is probably going to bore everyone. Sorry, but I'm going to go with it because I love it. So basically, the balance wheel in a watch over time, gravity affects how well or how accurately that watch will work. So the tourbillon, if you think the balance wheel's going round like that, the tourbillon would then spin with that, a bit like the Earth will rotate and then go around the sun at the same time. It's sort of a similar sort of concept, and that negates the effect that gravity has on an automatic movement in a watch. It's like just needlessly complicated because you're talking like these days probably hundredths of a second that makes a difference.
Yeah.
But
people still love...
He wanted to engineer that.
People still love engineering in watches.
Yeah.
Even though we got digital watches, we've got smart watches, we got all of that.
There's no need for it now.
But there's still a massive market for it.
Oh, 100%. And some of it, I think people just like sort of the fact that it's seen as luxury or whatever.
I think that going back to like engineers like this, the flamboyance they put into their bridges.
Yeah.
Like another one of my favourite structures that we've worked on, we've had in the yard. We had pieces in the yard that we've been shot blasting and painting. Over at Marlow, that was built in 1828 by William Tierney Clark. Great guy.
Yeah.
I didn't know him personally.
Great guy.
What a guy. But he, like, there was some pointlessly fancy parts of that bridge that no one ever really saw. Basically until it got worked on in the 60s, and then we worked on it in about 2022, and we saw the bits. Kind of no one else does.
That's it. Like,
but the skill that went into casting, forming them pieces,
and a desire to engineer something that's just better,
and that would last.
Yeah, and that's what I love. And obviously, if he's had that background, one from his dad, then where he studied, then he's come back to England, done the technical studies over here.
But we're looking at, you're getting on for a lot of Brunel stuff now. It's coming up to 180 to, if you're going back to what his dad done, he's 200 years old. Yeah. We're still using it today.
Yeah. Even the methods. So let's, like the tunnel for a minute.
Yeah.
Even the methods used for that. All right, you had like physical manpower doing the scraping, but actually the machines that do it now are doing the same thing.
Yeah, now we have a tunnel boring machine, but this was it was essentially a scaffold with a load of men at the face chipping away on this occasion, the one under the Thames. Yeah. They're digging in clay. But yeah, it was very labour intensive. Yeah. But he developed that system of a very early tunnel boring machine.
Yeah. And that I suppose, well, that project in particular, I suppose, is more his dad. And it was interesting reading a bit about him, actually, because I think he was like clearly a very clever bloke, is probably an understatement, but he was a terrible businessman. So like a lot of his ideas, this is his dad's, he'd be giving them away, and he ended up in that debtor's prison at that time. And
I think they should bring that back, by the way.
Yeah. He only got released because I think he said he was going to go work in Russia. And they then like cancelled his debt as long as he stayed in the UK and kept developing like engineering projects in England, basically. So I mean that tunnel didn't go particularly well, did it? Really, I suppose going by that first story initially.
No, but I think with all my takeaway from engineering over the last couple of 100 years, there's been a lot of trial and error. And I think even with the industry, the way things are now, like in some ways, I don't think the last 50, 60 years have changed much.
No, probably not.
Like we've put shackles on ourselves now with what we can do. And I certainly myself, we work with some good people, some good engineers. I got like my favourite go-to engineer.
Yeah.
Or a couple that I'd go to for different things.
Yeah. We're not talking about Brunel, we're talking modern day.
Yeah, we're talking about modern day engineering. But I like to think, sometimes I sit there at night and I think about, when people say about like, who would you go for dinner with? And everyone goes, Elvis and Winston Churchill and...
Will Smith.
Yeah.
Always seems to come up.
Yeah. Mine would be engineers that I believe like created the world.
Yeah.
Because it's like these were like proper, not only engineers, but they were proper entrepreneurs. Because they'd have to get backing for what they were doing as well.
Well, this is the thing. So you look at all the, I mean, we've not touched on rail yet, which is probably the big one. But like all of that in this country was through fundraising and private investment. That's how like all of that got built, which is why you had the different systems and stuff like that we'll probably touch on in a minute. But yeah. They had to be doing that entrepreneurial side of it as well, didn't they, really?
Yeah, you have to convince the money people that this is going to be the next big thing.
And that seems to be where his dad maybe... Well, no, to be fair, actually, he fell short on it on a couple of bits. But he's a proper polymath, though. Like we talk about, like Da Vinci done everything. Like, I think as well, Brunel, like you're talking tunnels, bridges, railway... boats, and then side projects. One I didn't know about, flat packing a hospital that was sent out to the Crimean War.
Oh, I didn't know that.
That was really interesting, like genuinely. Basically, in fact, I'm going to pull up some of the facts on it because it was just outrageous. So obviously they would have had loads of problems with illnesses and contamination and things like that. So just having like a sterile environment wherever possible just was a priority. So he, whilst working on the Great Eastern, the ship, he designed and built a prefabricated hospital that could be shipped to Crimea and then put up there in 1855. And we talk about not being able to get like prefab buildings.
I know.
And
I know, but this is where, I might say something.
Sorry.
Go on.
I'm going to blow your mind, I think. In 5 months, the team he had assembled designed, built and shipped prefabricated wood and canvas buildings, providing them complete with advice on transportation and positioning of the facilities in 1855.
This is where I think today there are too many people that say, you can't do that, you shouldn't do that, you can't do it like that.
Yeah.
We've got to consider this, we've got to consider that. Sometimes we've just got to get on with it.
Yeah.
Let's just get on with it.
Absolutely. I mean, so there was a need there. Florence Nightingale, called for this need for better hygiene, basically. And some sources stated that out of approximately 1,300 patients treated in the hospital, there were only 50 deaths in the middle of war at that time. That's mad.
That's the power of engineering, isn't it?
Well, they do say, though, that, like, is it in... what's the saying? It's not necessarily in war, but is it poverty breeds ingenuity or something like that? Or desperation breeds ingenuity? Or, do you know what I'm trying to say?
I've never heard of that.
No, I might have made it up.
Did you create it?
Yeah, it's a new one.
Yeah. We'll get that. We'll put that as a post. We'll put a nice image of you looking outwards.
Maybe with less of the questioning myself during it.
Yeah. And we'll get it nailed.
Yeah.
And then we'll post it.
Desperation breeds ingenuity. I think that works.
I'm going to go with it. I like it.
But yeah, I just thought that was just where we've spoken so much about prefab, flat pack, whatever you'd like to call it, modular build, and just the difficulties nowadays, or not even nowadays, just the difficulties. The fact that it was done so successfully then.
There was just much more of a can-do attitude.
Yeah.
I mean, I wasn't there, but I just believe that
it feels like it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
There's a problem. We need a solution.
Yeah.
Here's the solution, and then no questions after.
A lot of these things. So I'm looking behind you right now, Kurt, and there's some old saws and that up on the wall that were actually my granddad's, and there's a saw behind you with like basically artwork on the handle, because our forefathers that would have used those tools, they wouldn't have been that easy to come by.
Yeah.
So they really looked after them.
100%.
And yeah, the handles are moulded differently. There's, I don't know if someone's drawn that sort of leaf effect or whatever that is on that saw, but it's quite cool.
Yeah.
But you don't get that anymore.
No.
Because everything's like we're in like a mass-produced,
it's a throwaway culture.
Oh, we go and buy a jacksaw, don't we? We buy it for one cut, one job, straight in the bin. We shouldn't.
No.
But this is what happens.
But that's like a whole society in general, isn't it?
That's not this podcast.
We're not going to fix that. Not yet. So on the rail then, there's two names that come up.
I also, what do you know about me? What things do I love in life?
Well, you love bridges and railway. I think that's why we're...
Okay,
we're
this is why we're
really.
talking about Brunel. Amazing, yeah.
But there's two names that
I
come
haven't played with my train set for a little while, actually. I mean, my kid's train set.
Not recently. Well, something to look forward to this evening, eh?
Yeah.
So, Brunel versus Stevenson.
Okay.
Who's the greater engineer?
I mean, I believe that... So I would say, from my end, Stevenson's less of a household name. I would probably say that most people know Brunel, or the name Brunel. But probably Stevenson come out on top with actually... Are you going to go down the route of
the gauge?
The gauge, yeah.
Yeah.
So what is a gauge?
It's basically the gap between one rail and the other, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, I always thought it was the inside measurements. It's the measurement between the tracks.
So what I found interesting looking at this was the difference between the way the two men went about it.
Yeah.
So Stevenson basically looked at what was already there from his dad, done a lot of it.
Yeah.
And just worked with that. Whereas Brunel was like, well, no, we've got maybe like a mile stretch of rail that exists at the moment. There's an opportunity now for us to see what this is going to look like in the future and design it now the best way possible. So that's why he come up with the wider gauge.
Yeah, so Brunel was more forward thinking. So you got 4 foot 8.5 inches inside to inside. That is the gauge we run now.
Yep.
And he wanted a 7 foot gauge.
That's it.
Yeah, so he built some 7 foot gauge.
Yeah. So Great Western Rail is all
okay. So they
on that. So they, I think they've got multi-rail in places now.
Always say that that's more stable. I mean, a wider wheelbase is going to make it more stable.
Go on, keep going because I've not shown you this, but I'm going to see what you tick off in this.
Oh, what about the 7 foot gauge?
Why he was going down that route?
Okay, so stability is what I've already said. Why else would he go down that route?
So it's specifically to do with where a lot of the rail was and what they were moving by rail largely at the time, because it wasn't a passenger thing, was it?
No, there was carts.
Yeah.
So they was moving... Was it the size of the cart?
No, so a lot of it basically was ironworks.
Yeah.
So they were moving... Well, the boiler sizes were increasing. So his thinking was, well, there's going to be bigger boilers. We need bigger chassis. If we do create that space in between, we can set everything down lower. So we've got a lower centre of gravity.
Yeah.
All of that makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah, totally. I love his thought process behind it.
So, and it reminded me, I'm not saying you're like Brunel, so don't take this.
Has been said. But I don't look like him, do I?
No. But when we are faced with a problem, like quite often people just like, oh, well, this is what we've got. This is what we'll do. Whereas sometimes we try to think ahead a bit and then design it backwards, if you like.
Yeah.
Like design the solution from the end goal.
I think we're not set on, I suppose, if we was like an outright scaffold company, we'd always be trying to say, we've got to do scaffold like this.
Yeah,
we're trying
exactly.
to use our own kit.
Yeah, yeah.
But what we do is we see what's the best solution on the market is.
Yeah.
And then we don't go with none of them. Then we try and invent our own thing.
Or even...
But that is why I've got, what have I got down the back of the yard? You very rarely walk down the back there,
I
do you?
don't know. Go on, what's there this week?
It's a bit of railway track.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Yeah, sorry, yeah.
And a platform. Like, people say, where does this go to? It doesn't go nowhere.
And what gauge is it, Dan?
That is, that come from Old Oak Common. So that is 4 foot 8.5. 1,420 mil, I think that is.
Is it?
Yeah, because do everything in millimetres now.
Got to, haven't you?
Apart from when you do any track safety, they talk about it in feet.
Yeah, that makes sense. But I mean, the disadvantages to the wider gauge, which ultimately why I suppose it never really took off, was existing structures like bridges.
Yeah, railway
all
arches,
would need to be widened. You just need generally more space for everything. And in time, I suppose we've got over the fact that we work on the smaller gauge. And that's then, I suppose, where Stephenson's skills come in. Because things were designed that work well on the existing gauge. So,
yeah, I think that's why when you look at railway, I think that's why we struggle with things like HS2.
That would be...
Like, I mean, Brunel would
imagine
be
what
turning in his grave now.
He would have loved the opportunity to do something like that, though.
Oh, yeah, but why are the Japanese so much better at making super? Because they've gone from, we're going to make a bullet train.
Because they looked at the platypus. That's why. Did you know that?
No.
So the duck-billed platypus, the front, the shape of its beak, and the way it moves through water.
That was one word that just wasn't going to come up in this pod. Hang on, it's not written down here at all.
No, but it's so aerodynamically efficient.
Yeah,
that's why they went with that. But yeah, anyway.
So what I was going to say about the Japanese is they've managed to kind of from a standing start go, we're going to do a bullet train, and everything's going to be brand new. Whereas we're always trying to go, we'll do HS2. We use a bit of old track here, and then we'll put a new stretch of track in that's super fast, and we connect it up to some old stuff that we're going back to. It's 150 years old, nearly 200 years old.
Absolutely.
And we never afford ourselves the opportunity to be able to look at something completely different.
And look at it as a whole rather than, like, how is this going to be... That's one of the things...
Like, it needs to work with the system, I get.
Yeah.
But there's interesting... I done Russian at school.
The only place that doesn't have standard gauge.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Oh, sorry.
I was actually going to say Dos Vidania.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, if you go through Europe and you go into Russia... There's a part, and I remember this from my Russian teacher, Mr. Cole. Shout out to Mr. Cole. I think he was ex-KGB.
For your sake, I hope he's ex.
So he would tell us like fascinating stories, and because I always have loved like engineering and things like that. It's like there was a point in time where they made the undercarriage of the train slightly wider when you go into a part of Russia.
Right,
and we need to look that up on it to find out what that is, because I only just remembered it then.
Yeah.
Come flooding back to me from 25 years ago.
Interesting. It's amazing what sticks, isn't it?
Yeah, none of the rest of it stuck. So it was we went to a language college.
Yeah.
And we had to you had to do 2 languages. I struggled at school anyway, so I was like, I don't want to do 2 languages. So I kicked off enough. They said, okay, Dan, if you think you're so clever, you don't have to do 2 languages, but you can do Russian. So I said, yeah, all right, I'll do Russian. They weren't expecting that.
Yeah.
One other lad as well. There was only 2 of us in the class. I should have stuck with it because it would have come in handy now.
Any language, I think, it's nice. I'm always jealous of someone that's got...
Yeah, like but like Mandarin or something like that. It's just...
Ni hao.
Bless you.
One last thing I wanted to mention on the railway, actually, was how Brunel saw the whole system working.
Yeah.
And this is a bit of the foresight, I think, that's interesting.
The larger vision.
Yeah. So his plan overall was to have a fast, flat, level tracks make up the majority of the routes. Mm-hmm. So I think there were trunk routes, he called them, but basically those main routes were the fast ones. They had to be level, flat, no hills, all of that. And then the smaller ones going off, the less busy ones, they could be slower, they could be windy, it didn't matter. Mm-hmm. And it was interesting because it doesn't seem like a big deal now. That sort of makes sense. But one of the bits I read brought up the fact that obviously you're talking a time where horse and carts were the travel of the day. And just even that thinking in itself would be quite an alien concept to those around, that you would have to set up these different routes for different... we're used to it now with motorways and things like that. Anyway, we're just with driving, but that's quite forward thinking at the time.
Quite often, a lot of these people were looked at like they're a little bit mad.
Yeah.
And
not everything works for them. Like, you look for... There's a lot of stuff that didn't work.
Yeah. But they're pushing the boundaries.
Yeah.
So I think that's what I've got in common with Brunel.
A lot of stuff doesn't work.
A lot of people look at me like I'm mad.
Yeah.
A lot don't work.
Yeah.
But because I'm doing a lot, those bits that do work, and then I get the old, it's all right for that guy.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, mate, it's all right for me. Yeah. So, but you go like, it's how you're perceived, isn't it? I mean, I hope he'd be happy knowing that, we're talking about him on this epic podcast right now.
Yeah.
Like, in our own way.
Oh,
we're talking about him.
You've got to take your hat off is underselling it, really.
It's a little bit of I didn't want to bring him up, but, a couple of my other hero, Tommy Walsh. Yeah.
Not where I thought it
No. But, for me to have books growing up of, ground faults.
Yeah.
And then great British engineers.
Yeah.
Because obviously, at school, you do, inventors, didn't you?
Yeah, Louis Pasteur and Alexander Fleming come up earlier, didn't they?
So, yeah, they're more like go through,
They're not inventors, they're sort of...
But it's more like the light bulbs and things like that.
Yeah.
You don't really do engineering.
No, we never...
But it's weird because it's engineering that changes the world.
Yeah. Yeah, well, you look at these things... Well, it's hard to compare it to the light bulb. But, there'll be a lot of scientific discovery. It's all important, I'm going to say.
Well said.
I was going to say about... Yeah, it's all important, but engineers should be looked at more. So, from the row, then, he also made sort of quite a lot of advancements when it came to shipbuilding, which to be honest, I didn't know anything about him building ships. But...
Well, that's when I go back to that famous... My favourite photo of him.
Yeah. I knew about Clifton Suspension Bridge and the rail, basically. But
I think, most people would.
But he basically is credited with building the first modern day ship, because everything had been in wood to that point.
Yeah.
And all his designs were iron ships.
And once again, as soon as you build an iron ship, what do you need? You need the whole infrastructure around you.
Oh, so you see how it's all linked.
Yeah. So a lot of the engineering that he was doing was...
Yeah.
Okay, how are we going to forge this?
Yeah.
I was fascinated the other day. I drove up the A1.
Fascinating.
And I see, I believe it's the last furnace.
Oh, you were talking about this, weren't you? Yeah.
In the country. And they're still forging iron there. I think it's owned by the Chinese now. I don't know if the government bought it back last year. I don't really know.
Yeah.
Don't really know the politics side of it too much. But just fascinating to look from the roadside and to see these huge poles of slag that they bring out, just smoke coming out of these massive chimneys. I'm in the north, right? I'm sitting in a Range Rover, so you didn't really get the smell and the feel, but it felt like you was in the north. And it made me think, actually. That's when I thought the other day about the old school engineers. How fascinating would it have been to be in, probably not the coughing your guts up and stuff like that because you can't breathe, because there's so much smog and there's so much smoke. But I know we've got it a lot cleaner, but still doing it, that's very old-fashioned way of doing things.
The size of what they were building as well, and the fact that was such a rarity. because I suppose we see these sort of superstructures and stuff around the world now, don't we? Maybe it's a bit lost on us.
But you can imagine being like from a little Victorian village, and going to these places, and it just being vast. Yeah. That one up Scunthorpe literally blew my mind the other day. How big it is.
Yeah, so interesting. One of the ships, so the SS Great Britain was the first one he built. Big iron ship, actually run aground apparently in Ireland, I think it was.
So these are like steam powered ships.
Steam powered, yeah. Yep. And interestingly on that actually, so I think it was the second one, which was the SS Eastern, was 660 foot long, weighed 22,000 ton, and they'd made it large enough to hold enough coal to get to Australia and back, because at that time they didn't think Australia would have the coal reserves to be able to like restock. So they'd have to do the whole round trip, and like to do that again in the 1850s is just outrageous. But to the point I was saying earlier about not always a success, that build bankrupted 3 companies, including the shipbuilders. So
yeah, but they were the early date. They were pushing the boundaries, weren't they? Completely pushing the boundaries of everything.
Yeah.
You know, how do you know how much it's going to cost you to forge steel?
Oh, well.
So you can imagine them being in, like, you know, and they're in a...
It's true, isn't it? You don't think...
They're in, like, and it's all, well, like, in hindsight, you look back and you oh, yeah, it sent them bankrupt, but what did they achieve?
Yeah. Well,
I mean, they could have had corruptness and or whatever. There was probably all that going on, but...
Well, it did later, like, that had commercial success later, because that they actually used to lay the first long-term transatlantic cables. So, like, yeah, I mean, that was what a world that opened up at that point.
Mind-blowing, isn't it? You got all of that going on over here, and then you got everything going on in the States, like everyone pushing west. So a lot of people are obviously landing at New York, and then, you know, it's packed and all that, and then they're, you know...
But that basically sort of, I mean, that's a very brief summary of some of the things he achieved, but I think the word that come up, or the description come up a lot, was he was a great innovator.
Yeah.
And that was...
I mean, steam,
I
love it. I'd have a steam-powered car now if I could. So again, I bought the kids/me. I've got the little mod, like steam engines, like tractor units.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, so you light like a little fire.
Nice.
In them, it's like a little wax melt thing, but you want like a little fire.
Yeah.
Little steam boiler, and the things go around. And the babies love them. You know what I mean? They're boiling hot and stuff, so be careful. But they bomb round, and they're all like toys of an era gone by. I don't really look at them as toys. I mean, these things are like 250, 300 quid each, more than that. Yeah. So you wouldn't want to give it to a 3-year-old and just say knock yourself out.
No.
But they're incredible that it is steam doing all their moving parts.
Yeah.
And I've always tried to, with my kids, like let them have toys like that. Because then it gets
you
an
learn,
interest,
don't you? And you're thinking. And
so like my thing, one of my projects is I'd love to build myself a tractor unit, like an old school traction engine.
Yeah.
Yeah, with a big boiler in it. And then maybe not go to fairs because it won't exactly look like the authentic ones. No, because I'm different.
Yours will look like a hot rod or something, won't it?
But then you imagine that.
It'll literally be hot.
I fancy cruising down Southend Seafront on a Sunday afternoon. So I've got to get up at 4 a.m. and start the boiler.
Yeah.
And the thing weighs 44 tonne.
Yeah, the locals won't like what it does to the road surface.
The locals...
don't like you anyway.
Aren't going to like us anyway. No. Yeah, we're big, bad developers, aren't we? Nice. Just giving them all houses and stuff to live in their lives. Do you know some of the things that interest me? So I love steam. And yes, Brunel used it and, you know, he used it in a very positive way. And we moved we moved engineering on.
Yeah.
But back in the day, when they were trying to push steam out, do you know about James Watt?
The guy that owns Brewdog.
Oh, funnily enough, no. So he was like the engineer and marketeer,
right?
Sort of around steam, and he was trying to get people to go away, like farmers, to go away from horses,
right? Okay.
And go onto steam engines.
Yeah.
So he actually coined the phrase, or is widely known that he coined the phrase horsepower.
Okay.
So he would say things like, yeah, get this traction unit.
Yeah.
And people would not understand.
Horsepower.
And he would, yeah.
Yeah.
And it would be more than that. And then he would do the math with them where you haven't got to have them 4 horses now, because all you've got to do is stick some coal and some water in this traction unit
Yeah.
that will run around the clock, and you ain't got to feed it. You haven't got to take care of it. You've got to oil it and stuff like that,
Yeah.
which is all the parts I love of them, because I love the smell of the oil and all that.
That's
Strange
amazing.
thing, you know? But yeah, that's like, then that's the other love of my life, marketing.
Yeah.
So this guy James, he thought, well, I'm not going to take no for an answer, and we still use that today, don't we?
Yeah.
Oh, how many horsepower is your?
Yeah.
How many
Where
horsepower
did
is
the
your
brake
Civic?
come in? Brake horsepower. 140, by the way.
Is it?
Yeah.
So you've saved yourself 140 horses.
Yeah.
I don't, but it's mad, because growing up, I never used to understand that. I used to watch Top Gear and that.
Yeah.
And think, how could you have that many, like 5,000 horses on a chariot? You wouldn't have it. But
No, just the equivalent power output.
yeah,
Yeah.
but I don't think it's an exact science, is it? Because if you got,
Well, no, so they measure it in kilowatt output and stuff now as well, don't they? So it is, I suppose it's...
it probably is
slightly
now,
different,
because
but
again,
yeah.
we've gone all like,
Yeah.
But-
yeah. And to think, so he did that and then led the craft beer movement all these years later. That's quite amazing.
yeah.
He's good at marketing as well, actually.
Oh, he's an incredible marketer,
He's
yeah.
spun a lot of stuff quite well, hasn't he?
I think there's, I think there's a lot to be said.
But we digress. I have got a question for you, or for both of us, and it is related.
So will this count as a point towards
This,
the? Well,
this is a point to
So
you.
what?
Let's be honest.
so this, just to clarify, this is a point where I'm like, I've got loads of tallies, and
Yeah, that
you've
one.
just, okay, just checking.
So the question is, what is the total mileage of railway, including underground and tram and light rail systems in England?
Total mileage.
I'm going to say 5,000 miles. Just England.
Now, I wasn't going to go that high on the basis of it's just England, and like the other day when I drove 300 odd miles,
I have overshot this.
and I thought, I've driven 300 miles here, and I've gone from south to north.
Yeah.
It's not that far. Like, it is far, but it's not that far.
I thought,
I'm going to go 2,573.
okay, so I'm going to give you my workings. I thought south to north is about 500 miles. And then I was like, it's going to be about 10 times that by the time you've added the underground in, you've added the branches off, east to west, all of that.
Yeah, but I'm right. So my workings, just
Yeah.
before we give us the answer,
Yeah.
is that I get what you're saying, but a lot of the time they use a lot of the same track,
Yeah.
and it's branches.
Yeah, I think you're going to be closer.
Let's see.
Oh, I've won one for once.
Oh,
Firstly, thank you, everybody. It's got the breakdown as well, actually.
go on.
So mainline railway routes.
Just give us the answer, bro.
No, there's 9,846 miles. Underground, 250 miles of track. Tram and light rail systems, 220.9. All from gov.uk. The thing that's thrown it is on the mainline railway routes, it has got in brackets Great Britain. And the question was England. I'm still going to take the point because
You can have it. I did actually know that about the underground.
That's actually slightly less. Well, no, I suppose when you think about the actual size of London, 250 miles is a lot. I
Yeah,
know
but
it
also-
branches out to Upminster and
Yeah.
all of that. But
Also, like, a lot of the underground is not actually underground.
no, what is the percentage of that? Maybe that's a question for another day, but you've got an advantage.
I
on that.
don't know the exact percentage, but it's something mad like 20%.
Yeah,
It's low, the bit that's underground.
yeah. So the Thames Tunnel now, sorry, going back to that, is that used for the parts of the underground? I'm sure I read.
I don't know. I mean, one of the other things that Brunel done is he adopted the caisson design. So they used to sort of underdig a caisson. So you've got a lot of stations along the river there
Yeah.
that are kind of a round design,
Okay.
and that was like a steel or a cast iron caisson bolted together at ground level,
Yeah.
and then it was underdug to drop the thing down.
All right.
So you'd essentially shore the ground as you go.
That's interesting.
And that's how a lot of them stay. You know, like when you go down into a long embankment and that, and you go down into stations and they're a round staircase.
Yeah. Very interesting. Another rail system that he looked at getting over the line didn't quite work was a vacuum one, where there's like air pressure build up, and it was like almost 70 miles an hour these trains could travel.
Yeah.
Like just through this vacuum system. Very impressive. It was an expensive way of doing it in the end.
I think he would have loved the electric motor.
Yeah. Anyway.
And I think that what did I say to you when we said about this episode? I said to you about the Clifton Suspension Bridge.
Yeah.
Good bridge.
We haven't even touched on that really either.
What a bridge. But I said, the first thing I said to you was it's sad
that
you never saw the end of it.
Yes. Yeah, because you said, was it completed in 1859? Oh, I'll tell you what I did find out that was interesting. Robert Stevenson also died in 1859. So they're both sort of, I suppose we'd say they're rivals now. They probably weren't really. They're just bidding for the same jobs, I guess. But then, then the Clifton Suspension Bridge was completed.
So he was like mid-50s when he died?
Yeah, 53, I think, something like that. But yeah, he never saw that. But it was his design that they built on, basically, and those principles. And even his early sketches, I saw some of those, and it literally looks like...
Do you not think it's incredible, though, that we're still using that today?
Well, I suppose the scientific principles don't change, do they? And those laws of physics.
But the size of vehicles do.
Well, that's true.
It was essentially a pony and trap that was supposed to be going across it.
Yeah. Yeah, because part of the competition for it had to meet a certain like pressure per inch like, load rating, didn't it?
Yeah.
Like,
and all of the bridges that have been designed. So a lot of, and this is what I think we're missing in today's tenders. The competition, like element of it, you could win the chance of us accepting London Bridge in your design. If you look at all the bridges of, so that like the city would do a competition. We need this. We've still got big ships. We're in the era of big ships. Yeah. We need to get the big ships in to the city. So we've got to have a bridge that comes up and down when you talk about like London Bridge.
Why not? And like, to be honest, because you would still have...
Tower Bridge.
Yeah. You had made the same mistake that the Americans did.
Yeah.
They bought the wrong one, didn't they?
Oh, yeah.
You would still have to prove it works, wouldn't you? Like, all the calcs and that would still need to be done.
Yeah.
But why could you not do, like, a competition to... Give us your best design. We're going to pick our favourite.
Rather than the bits we go through now where it's like...
That's a design portion sits with you.
or social value.
Yeah.
What does that even mean?
Nobody knows.
Nobody knows.
So, yeah, I mean, how do you feel about the first historical episode we've done?
Yeah, amazing. I mean, I only read the first bit of what I was supposed to read.
No,
but I feel like...
There's so many key figures. I mean, one... I don't know if I mentioned him in this or not, but Da Vinci as another polymath, but like him as a scaffolder, I think I'd like to talk about at a point.
We'll do that.
Yeah.
Next time.
On a Hard Hat Chat. Thanks for listening. Anything to plug?
We will never ask you for anything, but we will ask you for one thing. What are we going to ask them for, Kurt?
Comments. Likes. Subscriptions. That's 3 things, sorry. Just comments.
It doesn't cost you anything, but it will help us enormously. It might even help us get some guests on this show.
Who knows?
So you haven't got to listen to us two the whole time.
We did try to get a guest today, but unfortunately Brunel's quite a tough booking. As would be Da Vinci.
Personally, I think we should have made Ryan do his voice.
Pretend.
Yeah.
How would he have spoken? Like a Anglo-French sort of combo?
It probably just would have spoken like Ryan.
Yeah.
Which would have made it even weirder.
Nice. Thanks for listening, everyone. We'll see you next time on Hard Hat Chat.